Birth tourism. Have you heard about it? I know I hadn't until recently. And it's exactly as it sounds. Foreign nationals travel to countries like Canada, the US, and Australia to give birth to a child who will be granted citizenship and all the benefits that come with it. While not illegal in Canada or the US, this should give our citizens pause to think, what exactly does it mean to be a Canadian or an American? And does this kind of new citizenship benefit or strain our country? As with much of the new immigration to the west coast of North America and much of Australia, it tends to originate from mainland China, and for Chinese citizens to find a way out of their country and to gain the citizenship of a Western nation. Now, I have zero problem with immigration from China or anywhere. But as Bob Mackin and Pamela Faverman reported in July, quote, a department in Victoria called the Audit and Investigations Branch Eligibility, Compliance and Enforcement Unit knows about 26 private residences offering hospitality services to foreign pregnant women. And they were able to discover that for the year ending March 31st of this year, that 295 of the 1,938 babies born at Richmond Hospital were to foreign nationals. That's 15%. But what about these 26 private residences that provide hospitality to foreign pregnant women? What would that look like in your neighborhood? Well, earlier today, I met with Carrie Starchuk, a Richmond resident for the past 28 years, who told me not only is her neighborhood filled with empty foreign-owned properties and new construction, but also a few of these birth houses.
I suspect that the house next door to me has been housing pregnant women coming and going. I thought it was just one, but then over the months there was more and more and more that came. And so I became concerned. As a person that's lived here for 28 years, I actually went to all the people that I needed to go to in terms of government, and I felt frustrated. So I decided that if I asked my MP, if I do a petition, they would support it, and yes, they said they would support it. 5 years ago or four, it was an illegal family hotel linked to Beijing, China, and there was different guests coming and going. So I already went through the rooms being rented for $40. They're called roomsters. There was transient people coming all the time. I went through the same route with the city, complaining about it, and they said they couldn't keep up with the complaints. It was so far out of control. And so I Googled the address, and it said it was an illegal family hotel. There was so many other links to it. So I always on the radar about when the new people came in. I already had gone through a negative experience. And so I thought, well, great, new neighbors are moving in. I went over to bring cookies, welcome to the neighborhood, and looked up, and there was 2 pregnant women. And then they were gone, a couple days later, and then there was more and more and more coming. So then I went through the same process. I Googled the address, found out what was going on, went through all the process to contact all the different people I needed to, and they said, do you want to report it as a hotel? Do you want to report it as taxi service, or do you want to report it as birth tourism? So I chose to do birth tourism because it's pretty serious. I kind of knew that was going on about 2 years ago, and then I didn't think that it was. I read a story about the Peter Pan hotel that was in downtown Richmond, and it got some media attention. So I kind of had an idea, but I didn't realize it was going to happen next door to me. That I actually, I was doing my duty as a neighbor to welcome my new neighbors, but I didn't realize that my next door neighbor was going to be running a hotel that was housing pregnant women. Yeah, but there is another one that's within a few minutes of my home, and you probably could ask any neighbor and ask if there is, this going on. I have asked, some other people, and they say, yeah, they suspect it, but, I can only deal with so much. I'm doing this for the common good of Richmond. It feels terrible to see, the divide in our community. My best friend is 4th generation Chinese. My daughter-in-law is from Japan. I picked strawberries with Japanese girls. I went to school with Japanese. I went to corner stores with Chinese. I cleaned hotel rooms with the East Indian people. So to me, when we've had issues with perhaps the influx of new immigrants, And to be called racist, it's very hurtful because I believe that we have gotten along very, very well. Like I told you in the interview, my neighbor behind me was from Hong Kong. The people beside me were from India. We all got along. It's something that has happened. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe the numbers are too high that are coming in, that we don't have a chance to integrate and understand one another.
Birth tourism may seem harmless, but remember, Canada has a family reunification program. So 18 years after the child is born here via birth tourism, they can apply to sponsor their parents to come to Canada and gain citizenship. But even before that, the parents can enroll their Canadian child into elementary school as young as 5 and then be granted residency here. As Carrie mentioned, she has an 8,000 signature petition on the go. You can add your name if you want, and you can just click on the link below. I'll stay on this case, and so should you too. So if you're a resident here in the Vancouver area, or anywhere in the country really, and you know of a similar situation in houses being used for this purpose, please raise this issue with your local representative. We cannot allow the continual erosion of what it means to gain Canadian citizenship. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.